Good morning. Good morning. We are live. I'm going to go ahead and shut the door real quick. Good morning. We are live. It is Wednesday, May 18th. And today's a special day. It's homeboy brother Steve's birthday. I'm excited. Brother, best friend, and we're going to get to go up to Granby. Kind of pretty close, same route take just outside of Rocky Mountain National Park. And gonna be taking an inflatable kayak, burritos, all of the treats. We're gonna be going hiking and a lot of these fun things. We're actually, as you can see, I'm a bit in my street clothes pretty early this morning. So cheers to that and the fun adventure. Yesterday was Tuesday, a bit of my push day for lots of coaching, helping people try to discover the best version of themselves. Been really focusing on helping people strengthen the relationship with themselves and then using those skills, learning those skills, and then having fun with trying to relay these skills to their children, their spouse, other coworkers, and just finding a more fulfilled and fun way to grow, develop, and live in alignment with our values. We're really big on staying in alignment with our values, understanding our values, knowing those values. Because when we're out of alignment, we usually feel like shit. And we're trying to really cut back, help people pause, slow, feel, pause for a moment, and just kind of remember what is really going on. If I looked at the past 90 days, what have you accomplished? Living in the gains of our lives, getting excited. So this morning, as trying to live in those gains and also trying to plan and become the best version of ourselves, I like to do this exercise. It's a classic SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. We've touched on this in the past and other content through my coaching, but this is always just a great refresher, especially when it's done right. When you have a good guide, such as a coach, teacher, someone along these lines who are willing to ask the hard questions, and you're willing to be open, honest, and sincere about what it is that is in front of you. And it takes work to discover and to have a good idea of what it is that is actually in front of you. It's hard to get somewhere that you want to go if you don't really know where you're at starting. So this is always a good foundational piece, making sure that you do have a strong foundation, a good understanding along these lines. So let's go ahead. We're going to hop over. I'm going to share my screen, and then we're just going to go over a few questions. And then I want you to, maybe you can watch this later if you're on the move and you're on the go, or just go ahead and sit back, reflect on how this, in your own position, what you do have available to you, what you do want to use, any opportunities that you've been missing out, or are there some things that we're ignoring that could be potentially be dangerous? Again, the clarity and the awareness can usually separate us from what is keeping us from becoming a better version of ourselves. So, no more on that. Let's go ahead and jump right into this sucker. I'm gonna share my screen. Entire screen. Okay. So first, starting off with your strengths, and I'm not going to go through all of these questions. We're just going to pick a few that I did like. So this could be apart from personal or business. So just even asking the simple question of figuring out your strengths, it's like, what are your assets? Like, what are you, what is our strongest asset? So how could I, how could I personally answer this question? What is our strongest asset? I think our strongest asset would just be the simple experience of writing out, whether it's in journals. Brought my handy dandy journal here with me on my travels, a separate notebook. The willingness to measure and to just take action very consistently. Would that be a better asset? And see where this can kind of go into a brainstorming session where you're kind of going back and forth because you don't want things to be as broad, but you need some type of starting point. But I would say our strongest asset is my physical health. That is definitely my ability to go out in the mountains, come back here, read the I'm loving this Gap in the Gain book. Reading the books, my ability to absorb information, just I have my mind and my body perform at a high function. And to be an entrepreneur, to be able to manage businesses, that's just a lot of movement. Things are rather inconsistent sometimes. And so I would say my health is definitely my strongest asset. Um, let's do a couple other questions. Do we have a sustainable competitive advantage? What is my competitive advantage over other people in the marketplace? I would say the fact that I am in the midst of discovering, of creating, and implementing all of the ideas and all of the actions that I work with my clients, I take on with my clients, that we're we're creating, I think, a stronger partnership versus some type of counselor or therapy type life coach. We do take a lot of the principles of therapy, such as a one on one safe environment space where you can be vulnerable and where we will want to break down anything, any limiting beliefs that are holding us back from taking the actions that are necessary, because some of that does match up. Again, where the competitive advantage is that, like, we are truly creating a friendship together within my coaching, and in the one-on-one space, we are able to be very honest and open, and the amount that we get done in an hour, we every other week, can really compound and be incredible compared to, say, if I were to be working with 10 people at a time. I do plan on working with groups in the future, but right now I'm trying to really cement my skills as one of the best in the industry. And to do this, I think diving really deep with people and getting that clarity and that honesty out is the best route for that. What is our unique selling position? Damn, I think I picked kind of a hard one. This is definitely straight corporate business questions. What is our unique selling proposition? Hmm. Unique selling proposition. I would say this ability to that these skills can be universal, but they're also the results will be individualistic. So say I do a 6 session boot camp. It's over 12 weeks. So you meet with me every other week, and every other week we do an exercise. And these exercises, I have found that people are getting the most fulfillment from we figure out, say, for example, you work on your, this is one of my recent clients. We work on your top 5 values and you have an understanding of these values. You learn how you can better honor these values. And then you take these values and then you go and you're kind of walking on eggshells with your partner, with one of your coworkers. And then we sit down and we go over the language and what do you need to say, sitting upright, sounding confident, but being fun and playful so you don't come off as like an arrogant, like smell your own farts asshole. That, hey, I really want to become the best version of myself. I've really been working on myself lately and I want to better understand you. Would you mind if I cook you a meal and we go over our top 5 values and just get a better understanding? And this selling position of it is beyond us and that what we can do to teach others is ultimately not only, if you want to really learn something, go teach somebody something. And this can really cement the ideology and the logic and the practice behind what it is you do. And also, you can go help somebody. You can go help your children. You can go help your wife. You can go help your coworkers. And it's this ripple effect. Because if you do want to feel fulfilled, if you do want to feel good, usually it comes down to giving your time, effort, and energy to other people, to other places, other things, and give, and feeling inspired and motivated. So that is my unique selling position, is I put you in a position to not only really truly help yourself, but if you do want to change, if you want to change the world, you got to change yourself. We start there, and then we go on to going and helping other people, which that's where it's going to pour rocket fuel on your fulfillment, on love, happiness, all of those great things that most of us try to strive for and we have a hard time finding an answer for. So unique selling position. Okay, some weaknesses. Okay, weaknesses. And when you're going over your weaknesses, just understand that everyone has weaknesses, everyone has problems, and don't kick the living shit out of yourself be very honest and but don't make this attachment of, oh, I have all these weaknesses. I feel like shit. I don't even want to go down to opportunities and threats. Like, there's no point. I suck. I'm horrible at this stuff. That's not true. That's not true. You are skilled. You are talented. It's in different things, in different varieties, in different environments. So when you're going over this weaknesses part, remember this is for you, to help you, to better you. Okay. And what areas do we need to improve? I would definitely say organization. Organization with the business, organization with my leads, my follow ups. I would say I need to improve in there. So focus on organization. What expertise do I lack? What expertise do I lack? I would say for what I need, I would say I lack a good, like, on-site manager for real estate. I kind of do a lot of that work right now, and I'm doing it from afar while traveling. And that gemstone piece of making sure things are running smoothly, we're getting new tenants into my rental properties. He's handling the flips. Say if I buy a beat up rental house, he's helping manage the process of getting the contractors in and out, making sure we're not overpaying out the wazoo and staying on budget. Our timelines are good, making sure that the communication from A to B is very smooth, and from a dollar perspective, we're on point. So I think my expertise, I need to learn more about finding those people, vetting those people, going through asking them questions to better understand whether they'd be a good fit or not. So I would say I need to improve along those lines, trying to find that manager. What objections do we most often hear from potential customers? This is a this is a great question. This is probably my favorite question that we've gone over so far. What objections do we most often hear from potential customers? What is the most common objection that I hear from potential customers? I would say I hear that we have another coach. We have we have a manager, and trying to figure out, because I coach real estate agents, and I'm reaching out to real estate agents, and I used to, like, I understand what they're talking about, the coaching and stuff like that, but that is bullshit. What I do is beyond, like, it's so much deeper. It's on a personal level. It's not just asking how many phone calls you made today. It's about understanding, like, where our energy is at, where our focus is at. Do we have these limiting beliefs and we're breaking those down? Coming back to having a purpose statement. Why the hell do you even do what you do? Who are you? And getting a very clear understanding of who we are as people, a very deep personal dive compared to a lot of the ambiguous coaching, like, make sure to text your grandma that you're in real estate now and that you're available to sell houses, from some Remax company or the company I worked with at properties. There was no type of, like, coaching that had depth and was deep like that. So my point being, sorry for complaining for a couple minutes there, but it would just be that, what do I want to say here? What objections do we most often hear from potential customers? I would say finding the right language to present the value and to be able to help them envision and see what it is that I actually do. So trying to find that line of, this is Tanner over at Talk to Tanner Coaching. I am looking to help real estate agents discover the best version of themselves. Would you have a couple minutes to chat? Or it's tough. So go ahead and play around with your message and try and figure out what it is that I'm hearing from potential customers for a rejection, and then trying to find a way to already answer that rejection before they even have a chance to say it. And trying going back and forth, and you cannot manage something you do not measure. So going back, writing it out, figuring out the common objections, and finding better answers for them. Is there a reason people tell you no for things that you want quite kind of often? Then we need to kind of discover that and help learn and improve off that. So going over your weaknesses, figure out your opportunities. Opportunities in general. Are there things that you should be doing and that you're not? Maybe just writing a list out of those. And then I usually, for my own clients, and not going off this list of questions, I usually have them just write out things that they should or could be doing right now, but they are not. And then you just kind of go through and you list 10 of them. And then usually the goal is to pick one and to go over the next week, go over a game plan on what is the end result that I want to get out of this? Why would this be beneficial to me? Why am I doing this? And how can I go about actually doing this? What, why, and how? So you make a list of opportunities that you could, maybe it's advancing your education a little bit within your own career. Maybe it is a possible prospecting plan to try and get more clients, or maybe it's just to try and improve your relationship with yourself. So, possibly reading a book that you've been wanting to read lately, looking at all those opportunities, and then just start with one. Especially if you haven't been doing any of them, just pick one. Don't beat yourself up because you haven't done the whole list yet. Just diving into one and taking one step forward and taking advantage of an opportunity. Lastly, figure out your threats. So, threats is our target market. Is there anyone who's not currently a direct competitor but could become one soon? Damn, I totally picked like really big, ambiguous corporate questions this morning, guys. So humor me. What happens if a manufacturer or supplier runs out of materials we need? I would relate this back to a threat being having more clients in the pipeline. What if my all my clients like just decided to move on and stop, and then I just had no money coming in whatsoever? Very dangerous. So I would say my biggest threat would just be continuing to grow the pipeline, continuing to get more clients in the door, booking people out in advance to make sure that booking people out in advance to make sure that my schedule is booked up and that I have the opportunity to handle ebbs and flows. Because right now in my business, a huge threat, I would imagine, and I'm sure it was like this as a real estate agent quite often. I was either boom, signing a bunch of people up and then getting a good chunk of money. And then it seemed like as the quarter faded and then the sessions were going on, my income plummeted from week to week. Very inconsistent, to say the least. So I think that inconsistency can be a threat, especially with next month. I'm about to pay a shitload of money in property taxes. I'm gonna have to write a pretty big check for that, and that's gonna pull me pretty much down. That's gonna pull me down pretty hard with a lot with my real estate capital. So trying to find other ways to supplement and make sure that we have adequate reserves and this isn't such a roller coaster of a ride. So being aware of the threats. Are you relying off of one person for your entire client base, or maybe just figuring out a way to smooth out and stay more consistent with your business, with your clients and who you work with? Let's go ahead and get off this share screen. Woo. So, overall, let's kind of I'm going to go ahead and post in the chat SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis, try it for yourself, go over and don't feel the need to do such like big corporate questions such as like that, especially if you're starting out as an entrepreneur or you're a one-man team for as a real estate agent, and kind of dive into what are your strengths? What are you really good at? How can you focus more on those? Your weaknesses. What are you bad at? Should you avoid certain things? Are there certain things you need to reach out to people to have other people help you with, like delegation, delegating certain tasks that you hate and you suck at to other people who love those and are good at them? Opportunities, things that we should or could be doing that we're not, just kind of making a list of it. And also threats, like do we rely on one thing in particular more than others? And how can we kind of mitigate that risk moving forward to help avoid the roller coaster of having clients, and especially in coaching and entrepreneuring? Well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to call this, and we're going to wrap it. Again, special shout out birthday to my brother Steve. We're off to the mountains. We're going to go kayak, climb shit, and hike stuff. Should be a bunch of fun. I'm excited. You got to have that balance, right? Get up, get your work done. I got a few things I got to work on. Um, Make sure I'm chipping away at. But then we're going to go out and have some fun, having the balance in between. That's what life's all about, right? So everyone enjoy, have a fantastic day. Good morning to you all. And I will be seeing you tomorrow, May 19th at 5:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Thanks so much. Cheers, friends. Until next time.